Hello, Renovo community, and thank you so much for joining us today. I have Dr. Holland with us. Hey, Dr. Carol, thanks for being with us.
Sure, thank you for asking.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Carol, you have a mobile practice in Wellington, Florida, and you specialize in jumpers. Tell us a little bit more about what you do in your practice.
Thanks. I specialize in sport horses and jumpers too. And so I have a big practice with different sport horses. And last fall, almost a year ago, I actually had a barrel racing client who I don't see them too often, but she told me to check into this new product called Renovo. I'm sure I'd seen it on an email, but I'm super busy. So the client actually brought it to me. So I ended up calling one of your representatives, Nancy, and she sent it to me. And I found out information from Dr. Gomez, who is at another practice. And I ended up trying it on her horse, was very successful, and did another case right immediately after that turned out to be very successful, both pastern ligament injuries that we rested. And then I had a jumper who had previously had other regenerative products in his suspensory branch. And it went on from there. So great,
Wow.
great.
That's fantastic. About how many horses have you used Renovo with?
I would say in the past year, probably 10 to 15.
Okay. And so you're using it for soft tissue, any other usage?
Yep, I'm using it for joints also. I have a really good case that just rechecked, and it was a bone cyst in a fetlock that was found on a pre-purchase exam for one of my clients. She didn't know it was there. And so we suggested Renovo because I'd had good luck through the winter. And we just measured it from April to now, which now is last week. We did another treatment. So she's had 2 treatments. She's 3 years old, and the cyst, which was teardrop shaped, has reduced by 50%.
Wow.
And that was pretty good. But we don't know if it would have reduced by itself, but for sure it's reducing, which is great success for her because this is a sale horse in her program. So
Wow, that's fantastic.
that was a joint. I have had other joints, but they're not past 1 month yet. So maybe they're 4 to 6 weeks. So I think it does take a period of time, but it's been successful with those previous cases very well. So
That is great. So compared to some things that you were using before Renovo, what are you seeing compared to, let's say, PRP or something else you might have used?
yeah, I routinely use regenerative products mostly in my practice. So I had good cases with the other. When I started using Renovo, it was because the other PRP products were not successful. So my cases with the Renovo have been very good because they've turned around after using PRP. So the cases that I started with Renovo have only been about 4 to 4 months, like particularly that bone cyst that I had. So I really only have a few cases that are starting with Renovo and no PRP before, but all of the ones that were unsuccessful with PRP are doing fantastic. The one jumper in the suspensory branch, he's back to jumping cross rails, and I have 2 pastern ligaments. They're running barrels, and some other cases that were suspensory branches that now they're no longer. The one horse was lame, and it's in California right now, but he went back and got blocked. So it's not the suspensory branch, it's the chip in the ankle that's causing the problem. So, we have some very good, or we think it is, but we have some very good cases to follow up with. And I do have one suspensory origin that I started in May. And that case had just went to the show, and it was not a tear. It was just mild pain, but it had been previously treated. And this case, I did only Renovo, and she was just in her first show last week. So that was a pretty good, successful case, I thought. All of my cases have been treated with laser and shockwave afterwards too, just to let you know that.
Okay. Oh, good. Yes, we want to know exactly what's happening out there. So that's really fantastic. So for some of the veterinarians who maybe haven't heard of Renovo or have been skeptical about trying it, what would you speak to them?
I would tell them to use selected cases. Make sure your cases are the ones you know exactly where to do the injection. And I do ice immediately after, just as a precaution. I do not give any dexamethasone, just Banamine or Bute if they are not on any type of medication anyway. I also have them walk for 2 weeks and nothing more, maybe 15 minutes. And I bring them back slowly. The ones that have been very successful were brought back slowly. Well, I've done that with all of them. So I can't really tell you if they took them into work because I've made them rest. I was given information originally at the start that Renovo is more of a long-term fix. So I tell people it's 1 to 3 months before we really know where they are. And most of my clients are very compliant. So we've had good success that way. So they only walk for 2 weeks after.
Wow, those are fantastic and really specific tips that help with the treatment plan. So we really appreciate that. And Carol, you also travel with your business. You go up to New York. Brag a little bit about what you do for those people listening, so we know how we can support you.
I've worked really hard. I have great clients, and I keep my clients in the summer months because Wellington is about 110 degrees and suffocating. So I'm very fortunate that they want me to travel. I go to New York, Kentucky, New Jersey, and California and Colorado. And yes, it's very difficult to be a nomad, but it's very rewarding because I do get to follow some pretty important people in my life, and very, very good, successful trainers that will allow me to do the injections of Renovo if we need it, or injections of PRP. And, I've got some great clients that, say whatever you think. And so I kind of get to pick, and with the experience that I've had, it's quite rewarding.
Well, you're obviously great at what you do. How can people get in touch with you if they want to find you on the road?
On the road, I have a cell phone that most people get. Email is also somewhat obtainable, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like me to give out my phone number, I don't mind. Everybody does call me, so if that's okay,
Sure,
I'll be.
sure. The best way to reach you.
Yeah, the best way is my cell phone, 561-635-7421. And everybody texts me is the best way. Calling, a lot of times I can't answer if I'm in the midst of a project or an appointment. So please just text me, and I answer pretty quickly for most people. And if I'm not, it'll be later in the day.
Well, Dr. Carol Holland, we appreciate you and your time and all of your wisdom here, and we wish you lots of success on the road and safe travels.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelly. And thanks for getting the product to me, everybody at Renovo. They're so good on the shipping. I really appreciate that too. I just wanted to put that in there.
Thank you. We appreciate your feedback. Have a great day.
Thank you.